So, hello, my name is Quirke, and in this section we're going to talk about why we need to investigate. So we've learned a lot from rectal cancer. We've learned that a multidisciplinary approach is important, involving surgeons, pathologists, radiologists and oncologists. We've learned that perfecting surgery has reduced local recurrence and improved survival in rectal cancer. And that a lot of this has been around about understanding the anatomical planes, that we can see the anatomical planes with the radiology and the extent of the spread of the tumour, and that we individualise the operation to the patient and the tumour. We've learnt we need to perform the surgery perfectly, and that pathology can quality control the quality of the surgery and feed back to improve it. And then we need population audit to see that we're getting the best outcomes for the patients, and where this isn't happening, we re-intervene to try and improve it. So why do we think this will be a benefit in colon cancer? Firstly, it's 2/3 of bowel cancer. And now, in the United Kingdom and in other countries, we're seeing the survival is now worse for colon cancer than rectal cancer is, because we've improved the survival of rectal cancer. We can also see major variations in outcome in colon cancer, and that the surgery performed by different surgeons in different places is highly variable, and that there is a range of quality of this type of surgery. The operation selected in colon cancer is dependent upon the site of the tumour. Each tumour will have unique anatomy and drainage of that tumour, and therefore the operations need to be tailored to that precise colonic cancer. We also have a different choice of approach. You can do it open, you can do it laparoscopically, and possibly in the future you can do it robotically. And we personally believe that the improvement in outcomes could be substantial and greater than that from adjuvant therapy. So here is just some data to explain this. Here we have rectal cancer survivals and colon cancer survivals in England, showing a 9% difference in 5-year survival, with rectum now doing much better than colon. And this is how it developed over the years. You have from 1998 through to 2005 cases presenting within that period. And you can see here the rectums are doing slightly better, and they're now doing much better. And before that, the colon cancer survivals were better than the rectal cancer survivals. And if we use the latest data that we have, we can see that rectal cancer survivals are continuing to improve here over the time period up to 2008, when patients were presenting at that time. And we hope that this will improve further, but we don't see this very large increase in survival in the colon cancers. We also see variation. This is data from Torbjörn at the Karolinska Hospital of the hospitals in Stockholm. And you can see there's quite marked variation between the outcomes in the different hospitals. And these are all the hospitals in England. This is the average survival over 5 years. This is the worst, and this is the best. And you can see again, there's a very major difference between the worst and the best. And this needs investigation and changing. We can see that the surgery is very variable. Here we have specimens where there is a low tie and there's marked disruption of the mesocolon. Since this is a cancer operation, we're wanting to remove the cancer and its drainage intact and remove as much of the regional spread as we can. Here is a better resection, just has some small defects here, but again you can see it's a relatively low tie and it's only removed a small amount of the local regional nodes for a tumour that's located here in the sigmoid colon. Here is a right hemicolectomy showing again a relatively low tie and severe disruption of the mesocolon, and here we have relatively little removal of the local lymph nodes and some disruption. So this is very variable surgery, both within keeping the mesocolon intact and also in the extent of excision. Here's some other examples. So here is a tumour just in the sigmoid, and you can see that there's an area of defect in the mesentery here, and there is a lot of disruption. Here again, relatively small amount of tissue removed, and here is a wedge excision. And in this specimen, we have nice high ties, but the amount of mesocolon removed in between those high ties was not as large as it might have been if there'd been further dissection. So there's a lot of variability, and if we can reduce the variability, we should be able to improve the outcomes. What do we really want to see? Well, we really want to see more extensive operations with removal of the high lymph nodes. Here are some examples from a surgeon called P.O. Nystrom in Stockholm, where he's drawn on the potential resection planes that surgeons might take. Here is a wedge excision around a cancer. Here, higher D2 excisions, and here are D3 excisions, so complete mesocolic excisions with central vascular ligation. On this specimen, we have D2 excisions, or you can do D3 excisions, as he has indeed done here. And here's a right hemicolectomy with, again, different levels of excision that a surgeon might undertake. And this is a D3 excision with high ties again, showing that there are more lymph nodes around here that would not have been removed if you had chosen these different anatomical planes to excise. So we have a range of operative approaches. We have wedge excisions, we have various heights of nodal removal that you can undertake. Here's a wedge excision, here is a relatively local excision, and we have variable quality in that the mesocolon can be ripped, or we can have perfect mesocolic excisions with all the planes being intact. So there's variability in the quality and extent of surgical resections in the colon. Again, as we said before, the operation is dependent on the site of the tumour. So here are a number of possible sites for the tumours, and each of the lymphatic fields that are going to be excised are different depending upon the site of the operation, or the site of the tumour. And we are learning more at the moment about the extent of spread, especially of hepatic flexure, transverse and splenic flexure tumours. We also are spoilt for choice with operative methods now. The standard open surgery, laparoscopic surgery is being performed in very many of these cases, and people are experimenting with robotic surgery. Now, if you do standard operations, we know that open and laparoscopic are equivalent, as shown in the MRC Classic trial, the COST trial, and the COLOUR trial. But is it that everybody can do a complete mesocolic excision with central vascular ligation by laparoscopic surgery? We don't have much evidence about that. We know that some surgeons can get equivalent specimens out, but is this something that everybody can do? Is it technically more demanding? We need to understand this more. And what is the role of robotic colonic surgery? At the moment, we do not know and would need a randomized controlled trial. We know that certain surgeons are reporting really excellent outcomes, and Werner Hohenberger in Erlangen has reported excellent outcomes, much better than we see in the United Kingdom. A very large series here, 5-year local recurrence 3.6%, 5-year disease-free survival of 89%. And in stage 3, 70%, and in his emergencies, 84%. And Werner personally believes that if you standardise the surgery, you can get much better outcomes, and that comparing the actuarial 5-year survival in his department with that in earlier years, improvement by surgery alone reaches at least 18%, which is much higher than the benefit that adjuvant therapy might give you. So that's why we think that colonic cancer is an important area to investigate.